Hey Panthers, so Miss Byrne here. This video is to help you navigate Office 365, and then at the end of it, I'm going to show you how to make folders to keep yourself a little more organized in your digital process. One thing I want to tell you before we get started is that something that I think is really important when you're starting to organize things online is that you come up with the system first. It's really hard to go back and make systems because you're having to move things around digitally, and it's just not as easy as moving things around by hand. So it's really important that you're thoughtful about how you want your stuff organized and how you want it to be presented. One time I recently had to do this was when we started online learning and figuring out what kind of channels I wanted on our team, like the office hours team. It's really hard to figure out what channels you want, but that's okay because if you think about it thoughtfully beforehand, you usually can figure it out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go to Office 365. So I usually just Googled Office 365 login. Many of you have been using this throughout the year. If you haven't or don't know how to log in, please just email me or let me know in Teams and I will help you out with that. I'm sure your classmates could also help you with that. So we're going to sign in. And I'm already signed in, so I'm going to sign out really quick so I can sign back in. You know, I'm not going to do that. Let me know if you can get signed in, we'll figure it out. Okay, so these are all of the different tools you have. You have more apps here if you click on it, but these are the ones we're going to use the most. If I am correct, you all, I think, are getting an email this week, so you're going to want to look at this. Some of your teachers might even send you some things through that, so you're going to want to start checking your email. This is a really important skill for most jobs moving forward in your life, please make sure you know how to do that. OneDrive is your online storage space. So anything you create, most of the things you create through any of these apps are going to end up in your OneDrive. It's kind of like a folder down here on your computer, but it's in the cloud. Remember, the cloud is an online place that you can get information from anywhere. So when I was in college, I only did things on the cloud because I knew that I was doing work at home, I was doing work at work, I was doing work at school, and I needed somewhere that I could always have my information and then I didn't have to have a thumb drive around all the time. I could literally just log into my OneDrive account and access it online, which made my life a lot easier and made it so I wasn't losing work. There's also a lot of other benefits to Office 365, one of them being that you can collaborate with your peers on there, which is awesome. We'll talk about how to do that later on. In fact, we already did that with the PowerPoint we did last week. So if you want to do a Word document, you can click on here. Excel is a super helpful tool. I highly recommend maybe playing with it sometime just to see what you can do. It's great for math and data. In fact, in your math classes, if you're in CC6, you might want to utilize that in the future. You also might want to utilize forms. Forms and Excel talk to each other. Forms is basically like an online survey, or you can create quizzes on there. It's a really great way to gather data. PowerPoint we've been using, that's obviously to make some kind of presentation. OneNote is a notebook style kind of Word document. There's a couple features though on there that are really cool. For example, if you get a PDF of a worksheet, you can actually open it on OneDrive and write on the document on OneNote, which is really cool. So open it on OneNote, you paste it or you attach it to the background and you can use it there. SharePoint is very similar to OneDrive, except for it's going to be where all of your documents that you share with people are going to be. You can also find them in OneDrive, but sometimes if you save a document here, it'll also save a document here that this is the one just for you, this is the one for your team. So just make sure you're working on the correct one. Teams we've obviously been working on, you know how to work that. Class Notebook is just the class notebooks that are in Teams. Sway is really cool. If you ever want to do a different kind of presentation or design a website, I used Sway for my About Miss Byrne on my website. It's really cool. It's a really neat way to just add a little bit of dimension to like a poster or a paper you're writing. It'd be a cool way to present that information. There's a bunch more apps, but right now we're going to talk about OneDrive because we're actually going to set up our OneDrive. So Miss Byrne made a mistake when she started her OneDrive, and she was not super organized when she started, which is why her OneDrive has a lot going on. It is a lot. I don't recommend doing that. What I'm going to recommend for you is that I started doing this obviously in 2017, but but I would start with a folder for your classwork and put all of your classwork in a folder like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my TechSmart folder. You guys don't need to do this. So I'm going to click on my TechSmart folder. If you don't have a folder, don't do this. Just create the folder in your main document. I think that'll make your life so much easier. So to do that, you're going to click New, and you're going to click Folder, and you're going to write in the year for this year. So this year we're in 2017. No, we're not. We're in 2019, 2020, and we're going to click Create. That's going to create a folder for you. We're then going to move into that, and we're going to create more folders. These folders are going to be your class folders. So for example, if you had science second period, you might put science. If you wanted to put like a dash and then their name, you could totally do that. You're going to do another folder. Say you have math next with Miller. You have social studies, LA with Cottam. You have social studies with Cottam. Again, if you have Keniston, you have Keniston, Tomato, Faust, just whoever you have, put that there. I'm just making up people right now. Well, not obviously making them up because you know these people, but I don't have a schedule, obviously. Okay, then we have, you have a TechSmart class. You would put that. You could put your PE class. You might not have a lot of PE. You might not have anything in there, but just in case, you could like put the makeup sheet in there so that you have access to that in your own folders. And health. And then if you have any electives like choir, orchestra, leadership, you would also put those in there. So just basically every class you have. I'm going to ask that today you look through any work you already have in your files and sort them. So I would take this TechSmart goal one and I would move it into my TechSmart thing by just dragging and dropping it into 2019, 2020. Maybe it's not working. Usually you can drag and drop. If it's not working, you can also click on the three dots and click move. Nope. That's only in Teams. Why isn't this working? Okay, well mine's not working right now, but you usually can just drag and drop it in. I don't know what's going on. But I would recommend using some time today that if you have any extra documents like I do down here, going through and putting them into things. Here is something that I definitely want you to focus on too. If you have any documents that say document 2 or document 3, if anyone ever needed to look through this and find something and your thing was named document 2, they're never going to find it. So you can rename this. So I would click on it, find out what it is, and then you click on these three dots and you can click rename, or you can click on it. So I clicked on that one, there's nothing in it. So I'm going to delete it. But I could put up here whatever it is, so just type in example. And that's going to automatically change it on my last page. So I'm going to exit out of this. Alright, I'm not going to even exit out. I'm just going to click back to my OneDrive. And it should be in here under example now. Yep, there it is. That, though, had nothing on it. So that is a gigantic waste of space. So I'm going to go ahead and click on these three dots right here. And I'm going to press delete. Yes, I'm going to delete it. I don't need it. There's nothing there. So, all right. Anything else I want you to know? There is this recent space that's nice. If you're ever like, oh, I need the stuff for TechSmart, you can click on here and it'll give you some shared libraries. So anything I've posted in the team will also be there. Recycling bin, and you can throw it away. Things that you've shared or have been shared with you are in this document. I use the recent one a lot, and I use the shared one a lot. So I've been doing some collaboration with Ms. Miller, Ms. Trombley, and Ms. Peterson. So those are all already there, and it tells me who's made modifications and when, which is really nice. All right, if you have any questions, go ahead and listen to the team, my office hours team for the TechSmart, and I or another classmate will help you out. But yeah, I hope you were able to make those files for your classes. That's the most important part. And then just spend some time this week organizing that I'm not going to check on it, but I really think you're going to have this for a long time, all the way through 12th grade if you stay in the Issaquah schools. So if you can keep it as organized as possible, that would be very helpful to you. And then obviously if you just want to delete things, go for it. But yeah, I would just keep it organized so that if you ever want to look back at something, you have that option. All right, have a good day. You'll be hearing from me soon, and I hope you have a good week. All right, have a good one.